You guessed right, Mick. I was saying hi, even though you couldn't hear it. Um, okay, I'm on the wrong resolution. Yeah, I have sound now. I have a chiller running now, and it's not leaking, and it holds temps and things, so that's already kind of interesting. Just gotta restart my capture card one more time. But otherwise, we should be good to go, hopefully. So this is a Fury X. Why a Fury X? Because if you look at the restrictions of Division 6, you'll notice that at least for one of the stages, most likely both, but at least for one of the stages, it's actually the best GPU that's allowed. Now, the chip you should be using with it is going to be an 8-core of some sort, an FX. I don't have any working 8-core. Why? Because both of my 8 cores are dead. Why are they dead? Well, that's a bit of story time for everyone, but it's pretty retarded. All the way back in PAX 2017, I took my Ryzen board with me, my Ryzen system, my 1600, my pod, and so on. And as a second system, I brought my Crosshair 5 Formula non-Z with all my chips. Kind of makes sense. Well, it never even left my bag, and I flew back home, and the board was dead. I'd like to hear theories as to how that could potentially even happen, because I had a single motherboard box, so the actual retail packaging of my Crosshair 6, and I had both boards kind of sandwiched on top of each other in the box. So if there was any sort of massive shock to the box, I would expect both of them to die, but only one of them died. So one of them I full potted for 2 whole days. The other one I never took out of the box, and that's the one that died. I still can't see any physical damage to the thing. I kind of made the mistake of running through a few chips through it on ambient to try and see if I could revive it, but it didn't even power on. But apparently now that I have another Crosshair 5 and I can... was it in an ESD bag? Yeah, it was. I do, when I fly with my stuff, I do package it pretty well. Hey Wilco, you didn't miss much. I'm just story timing from PAX 2017 when my Crosshair 5 died without ever being run. So I still don't know what's wrong with that board, but apparently it killed 2 of my chips, because I have an 8320, so an FX 8320 and a 9370, and they're both dead. They're both showing 0-0 on this board. So yep, I totally broke it. Okay, so what have I got on the stream today? Well, the weird, slightly psychedelic blue number flashing there is my chiller temp. It's having extended rest. Oh man. So my chiller temp is at 16.2 at the moment. Let me just double check what it's actually set to. Oh, set to 18. Yeah, I was having... There we go. Vacations, yeah. So I've set it to 12 now, so it's slowly going to chill down. And this sound you might hear is sort of what it sounds like when it's on, but it's an aquarium chiller, so what it will do is it will try to hit its target temp. Once it's hit the target temp or gone a little bit below it, it turns off, and then it eventually turns back on again. So yeah, obviously I have my diagnostic card with the boot code. I don't know if you want to have a look around the system. It's up on Insta anyway, if anybody's curious. It's quite late, so I don't want to spend too much time with preamble and all that. Basically, it's a Halea HC500A aquarium chiller. So 500 watt, I think, is what the 500 stands for. So it should be plenty for the Fury X. Let me just quickly make sure the driver installed okay. I just installed the driver. Oh, it's not even a Fury X, is it? I don't know what the difference is between a Fury and a Fury X. I really don't know anything about AMD cards, but I need it for this comp. So there we go. Okay, so we've got our drivers. So yeah, this is, oh, and obviously Fury's 3584. Okay, 4096 makes sense. So just another side note, I think I may potentially start to run out of power in this room, because I have exactly two sockets, not two sets of sockets, two single sockets. It's quite an old apartment, and currently it's fine, but I'm running a chiller, a system, a streaming system, lights, screens, and a 2000 watt heater off of these off of these two sockets, which seems to be doing all right. But the thing is, what if I run like Skylake X on liquid nitrogen as well? Or once I get my single stage running again, I would, instead of having an air cooler on the CPU, I would have the exact same setup with the chiller and single stage, which probably draws about 300. I've measured it before. It draws about 300 watts. So yeah. Oh, another thing I changed was the bits now show all time. I don't see the point in having them per week. That's kind of just annoying. Gonna set my background because it's pretty. So yeah, obviously these keys are public, aren't they, for 06? Just gonna grab it. Bilko was having huge issues trying to install 06. I just grabbed a random Windows 7 install and it's installed perfectly. It in fact even installed without the Windows installer service enabled. So that was that was interesting. Yeah, but I thought you tried a few different OSs, unless I'm completely wrong there. So the code starts with 3DM. That's interesting. Just go. Can hardly see the keyboard. It's so damn dark in here. 3DM. I need to make even more images. This is just ridiculous. Problem is I'm too lazy to set up my NAS, so I'm running out of space for images as well. Not to why. Okay. No, I don't want the tip of the day. Oh, it actually... Hold on, the SM3 tests I need to disable. It's the GTs and the CPs, isn't it? Or... Okay, let's just get a run in. I need to disable system info as well. So I literally just... Oh, of course my capture card just crapped itself. I'll have to disable... Beautiful. I'll have to disable system info. I'll have to match desktop res with bench res. And then I have some hope of it actually capturing properly. Start imaging stuff, Bilko. No, yeah. Well, that's a good point. It might actually be motherboard coil wine because I don't think it's card coil wine. This is exactly the same wine I've had a few times now. I can't remember if it's always been on the Crosshair 5. Um, so yeah, Raw Connect is back. Even though I don't anticipate doing very much in it, I just thought I'd re-add it to the stream because I can on this board. It's always nice being able to, check some stuff, whether it's really working, like the manufacturer sort of intends. I have no idea why my capture is forced to 3 as well. It's kind of interesting. Let's just get a run out, just to get, some kind of idea. The other thing is, of course, the capture card might screw with my result. But I'm not too worried about that tonight. It's going to be a short stream. Yeah. I just wanted to get the chiller working. And it does point out that I may need more cameras because I've got 3 cameras. I don't know. I mean, it all depends. I think on 3D, if you're pushing CPU as well, then the boot code might be useful. Certainly, I'd like to have a rig cam as well. Let's see. Let's see if this FPS is in any way, reasonable. Need more bandwidth and data, yeah. Yeah, that's a very valid point. So welcome everyone to the stream. Oh, and we drop out again for the CPU test. Well, it's testing at about 1 FPS, so you're not really missing very much. Maybe if I force the capture cam. Hyper without the S. I have to change that. That's unacceptable. So it's interesting how it was able to capture GT1 and GT2, but then for the CPU test it dropped out again. And I wonder if it's going to come back. Yeah, it does seem to be coming back. Very interesting. Alright, let me do something about that. I think the tests are at Robo Voice again. Wow. Okay, I have some idea of what I did last time, even though I didn't change anything. Let me know. All 6 tests? What the hell? I don't remember this. The SM tests? Okay, let's check. Let us check. Yeah, indeed, I don't have an overall score now. This is very educational already. So I had the chiller down to 10 degrees earlier and I was already seeing condensation. So it's the winter. Voice is normal. Yeah, Division 6. I'm going to look at the rules and at the division as well. Okay. So yeah, 1280 by 1024 is the benchmark res, so that's my best hope of capturing. Got disabled system info. Never mind. Wasn't something like no dash system info or something? Six main tests, there we go. Knew it. Okay, let's also have a look at the actual comp for a second. Well, I didn't get a result, so it's kind of obvious when you don't get an actual result. You just get subtest scores. It's very helpful that the main that the benchmark actually defaults to the right tests. That always annoys me in other graphics benchmarks. This is going to be a constant fight. I'm kind of like, anytime the chiller turns on, first of all, it's loud, but then it's also it chills the entire room in a way a little bit. Yeah, so this is the comp. I'm not used to the new comp layout. I'm really used to OC Esports, but yeah, those are the 4 stages. I've already sub placeholder scores on GPU Pi and Geekbench 4 on FM2. I probably should sub a placeholder score for Cinebench 15 as well. But basically the really basic breakdown would be 3 Mark 11 and 06 would both be on FX with a Fury X. CPU cold 11 with... Nah, that's an interesting point. OC Esports, one of the moderators decided to turn it off because they got so many complaints about the layout being bad and it being slow to load and stuff, but I didn't mind it. It's still there, yes, but the default when you click on a competition link now is to go to hardware bot version of it. Okay, what was I saying? 3 Mark 11 on FX on an 8 core with the CPU cold, obviously LN2 because, or liquid helium if you're really rich, because it doesn't have a cold bug. With the card, I mean, technically it's possible to get a Fury X on LN2, but I think chiller, I don't know, maybe single stage would be okay as well, but there's lots of problems with the HPM and stuff. I think chiller is going to be as try hard as anybody's ever going to go in this comp. All cores enabled because of the physics tests at physics and combined tests at the end of 11. 3 Mark 11, 3 Mark 06, the exact same break setup with also all CPUs on, I would assume, because of the CPU tests again, all CPU cores. GPU Pi, because it's not on a per core basis, would also be on FX because only FX has 8 cores. Yeah, so these, I mean, I'm not going to go through the list of allowed processors, but basically what it boils to, this list of allowed processor boils down to is as many cores as possible for the first 3 stages, so FX 8 core, and then stage 4 and 5 get more interesting. I'm more than likely going to be subbing FM2, a dual core, for both of those because it's a per core bench, and core scaling isn't perfect, so you take as few cores as possible. All right, so that's that taken care of. Let's go back to our system and see whether we can get the capture card to behave, which is not as easy as it may sound. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to get rid of my raw connect. Oh, I just got rid of my chat box instead. That's not very good. I don't think I'll be subbing in this one. What do you mean? Do you think okay, that gap is fine. Do you think I'm going to be so slow? Okay, that looks like a smooth transition into the first GT. Let's hope that the CPU tests are also at the same resolution, and then I won't get a capture card dropout. And unless it's my imagination, I'm seeing more FPS as well. So, um, the thing about my chiller is I actually went to the trouble of trying to buy these adapters that they make for, because well, I can't show it now, but the default width of the tubes coming out of this chiller are obviously for an aquarium, so they're bigger than the biggest tubes you can get for regular water cooling. No more backups. So you have to adapt them down in some way, right? You have to adapt down these massive tubes, and there's dedicated adapters that they make, but I could only buy them from the UK. So I bought them from the UK and it went missing in the post. And that's why I've had a chiller for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks now, even longer, and not been able to use it. So I sought advice. I have 3 of them. I sought advice on how to adapt tubes, and it's really simple. Basically, you get you just get a few different sizes of actual water cooling tubes, and you just stick them inside each other. So yeah, basically you have tubes inside each other, and they're just the right width or whatever that they don't leak. So it works for me. I have a D5 pump with a reservoir. That's it. But I have to say that just with the positioning of the card and everything, is the robot voice back? Oh man, I didn't change anything, so I can always keep looking. Look, at least you have GTs to look at. And a dropout on the CPU tests. Yeah, I mean, for Fiji's is solid, but nobody else has ever benched it. So he's not competing against anyone. Look, I mean, CPU tests are nasty. Like, they look nasty anyway, so you're not missing any eye candy. And in terms of FPS, it's like 3 FPS. So, you know, I can describe to you what I'm seeing. It's a canyon. It's a weird temple. There are some spaceships flying around. Now it's almost over. The camera has stopped moving. Well, I mean, what was Vantage? First of all, nobody benches Vantage. Second of all, it stops like being dependent on the cards. So it's just a CPU test, and not very many have a 14 core or higher CPU. And those who do, some of them, a lot of them don't bother to put it on LN2. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but like all it takes is just putting those on. Oh, my system just completely. I don't know what happened. That's what I get for ranting. Okay. Thanks, Evermedia. No, I don't think anybody. Maybe Vince can, but I don't think very many people can babysit 5 pots at the same time. So unless he pays somebody, I honestly have no idea why I lost display out. To the best of my knowledge, my rig is still running. Gonna just briefly bypass the capture card to see what's going on. No, just lost display out. Okay, reboot. I thought it was the capture card, but yeah, that is what the roboclocker is for. Well, the system is posting. Okay, let's give it a power cycle. What makes it even more awkward is that all my HDMI cables are behind my laptop, because I thought I wouldn't have to touch them. How wrong I was. Okay, power cycle. CMOS reset. Okay, I have display out. That was kind of weird. Okay, let's attempt to go via the capture card again. What makes it all so much more fun is that the input and output on the capture card aren't labeled, or rather they used to be, but it's so faded now. Hope I don't have to repeatedly do this. Oh, is there points for this card on Chiller? The only problem with having this setup is that there's always going to be bubbles in the loop. I don't think there's any reasonable way to get rid of them. Okay, let's try to enter BIOS. Maybe I shouldn't do that. This is all starting to sound a little bit like issues that Neo and Yoss have been having on their capture cards. Can't go into BIOS on the capture card, can't do 3D on the capture card. Okay, let's not try and go into the BIOS. Let's actually just run at CPU stock. Yeah, but beating Rave isn't that easy. Okay. Does anyone actually know offhand how to disable no system info? I thought it was like dash no system info. I think it was single dash. Yeah, that's what we concluded last time. That was the capture card. Kill this service, but then the benchmark actually complains, doesn't it? I think the benchmark then refuses to start. If I remember right, it's been a long time since I've run 06. 06 isn't even. Yeah, there you go. It's still on. Um, so we seem to be capturing the top half of the. So there's no FPS for some reason. Okay, now we have it. Hopefully, I'm not giving anyone a headache by messing around with the window so much. Yeah, okay, no system. So I was one dash away from doing it. Okay, let's just hope we can get a run in at 12 degrees chiller temp. That's a fair question. I just like disabling it. Actually on 06 it doesn't delay your run too much, but was it 05 or 03 that takes way longer to start the bench if you have system info enabled? Well, I'll just do a run with and without and see if the FPS varies in any way. 03, yeah, that's the one. Gotta use pause mode, man. Get a Rampage 6 Apex or a Crossblade Ranger, and then you have a pause button. Or sorry, no, the Ranger has a slow mode button. What else has a pause button? I would imagine the Apex 9, Apex 10. My SD card time. My Zenith Extreme has a pause mode as well. So let me just pull something up. I really need do I need? I need a third screen. I'm running out of desktop space. Okay, CPU test is running, but it's not crashed, so that's good. Yeah, so half horsepower. Since when is a horsepower exactly 1,000 watts? I never knew. I thought one was an SI unit and the other one was an Imperial unit. Ooh, GT3 is actually loading and running? Is this real life? What the hell? I don't like the fact that we're at 13 degrees though. Nice, 3D on a capture card and potentially not even impacting FPS. It's probably a bad idea to make my head bigger, but I don't want black space on my screen anymore. It's triggering me. Loving this psychedelic 13. This test, man. One of these days I'm going to get good internet and I'm going to stream this test at like 10 megabits, 1080p, 60 FPS. It's going to be so glorious. Now that day might be in 2025 because Australia doesn't have good internet. I like the way the AA is actually lining up with the hardware bot image, hardware bot logo at the moment. That's not intentional, by the way. I might just run these tests just to look at them. This is amazing. Not even overclocking yet. And it's almost completed a run. Okay, there's just one more graphics test, and then we can just tick that off as a completed run. I'm surprised. What I'm not liking so much is that the chiller goes a degree above the target temp before it turns on again. 01, what was the first test again? Was it car? It wasn't car, was it? It was, I like the lobby test in 01. It's amazing. Oh, the truck. Not my favorite, I have to say, but, almost done now, guys. This base, this Antarctic thing is just impressive. I wonder what was the first benchmark I ever ran. Probably Cinebench 15. I can't remember running benches in the old days, basically. Hi, Pleasant. Okay, we've got 20,000 points. So help me here, guys. I need 2 CPU Z windows. I need GPU Z, which is 2.9, which is the recent version, so that's nice. I need what else do I need? I need the score window for sure. I would assume I can't close that now, can I? I have to work around it. Let's auto hide the taskbar. We can do this. Memory. I like the FX logo actually. Not liking the fact that I'm running out of space here. I think this is legal. I do, however, need the details page as well. Okay, fuck it, let's up res just for screenshot, which may crash my capture card. No, it has not. Hi, Overclocking TV. Nice to have you join. I assume it's truth, but last time you were on my stream on your personal account, so if it's not truth, then hi to whoever else is on there. Yeah, it is a USB mic. It's a pretty basic one. It's an Audio Technica, but I like it. I think it does the job for sure. It does have an XLR connection as well, so if I can pick up a cheap interface, I may do that because I don't expect the mic to do that much better on XLR, but what I would like to have is like a dual input XLR and then potentially get another XLR mic and just point at the pot or something crazy like that. I do like sound, so one of the more oh, you're saying that the robo voice, I could be able to get rid of it using 44100. Okay, let's try that. Let us actually try that. It is already forced. It is already forced to 44.1. Overflow. Yeah. My mic is currently on. Okay, 4800. Okay. My mic is currently on its own dedicated USB port, but it's true that I'm running out of USB ports for sure. So, okay, 4800. It is. Disable and enable audio. Okay. 1 second. Okay, that was disabled and re-enabled. Hopefully it's working again. What I was saying for audio, although it does sound like there's still robo voice, one of the slightly unfortunate things is that Twitch only allows you to go up to 160 kilobits for audio, which is not a lot really. Let me just grab the screenshot, start another test, and then fiddle around with the audio again. Okay, so we have our details tab. Yeah, I think we're good to go. There's no validation file. So that was 2411. Okay. Yeah, I know it's still robo voice. I'll look at it in a second. Well, if I can't open, okay, let's just add like a small overclock or something, just to make it worthwhile to rerun the test. That's what I'm saying. Showing 9 degrees in Afterburner. No, it's not a CPU issue. Let's up the power limit. 8 degrees in Afterburner now. And let's go up 50. Okay, that should give us more. So now, just gotta go back down in resolution. And also disable system info. Yeah, it started straight away now because system info is off. Last time I restarted my stream to get rid of robo voice. Just trying some settings. Okay. Has that done anything? No. Yeah, I think that should be possible to do without restarting OBS. Okay, um, I've unplugged my mic and I've moved it from one USB hub to the other. Let me know if it's better. Still there. I am trying, guys. I've just moved to the internal microphone, so it's a completely different microphone I'm using. Can you let me know if it's still the same? Sounds to me like it's still robot voice, but maybe it's better. Worse. Echo, echo, echo. Okay, back to my good microphone. Fixed. Come on. Fucking hell. All right. Um, hopefully we didn't lose everybody now. Yes, overclocking TV is gone. Well, all right, but we have lots of new people in here. Thanks for sticking with me. We're currently on CPU test. I have no way. Oh, maybe it's the 3D test. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, is it back? Is the robo voice back? Okay, I've already moved my microphone to a different USB port completely, but it's still on a hub. So my only other option is I don't have very many USB ports here, but I'm going to unplug a camera and give the USB its non-hubbed spot. Okay, that sounds like everything's still the same, but you guys tell me. Still there. Well, I may need to restart my stream then. What Truth said about contention on the USB bus might be right. I mean, I've got two USB-C ports and two USB-B ports or whatever, and I'm using them all, so I'm trying to spread the load. I'm trying to spread the USB load as much as I can, but I am still connecting a lot of different video cameras and mics and stuff to all the same. Top right camera. So with the overclock, my score actually went down. Okay. Okay, it's both unplugged and not in OBS anymore. But the real test is to rerun the tests, because the issue was only coming up during the 3 tests. Okay, robot voice still there? Still there. Some extra camera with the 12. Yeah. Okay. That's it. The microphone is now the microphone is now the last remaining USB device. Let me think. I have Raw Connect, but it's not active. I'm going to unplug it just in case. But I literally just have... Oh, what's this up here? Okay. Of course, the capture card is also still there. So I have capture card only and microphone. That's it. No more USB contention. By the way, I switched to my internal mic, which is not on the USB bus, and it still gave me that issue. No, my camera is inbuilt into my laptop, so it's just the mic and the capture. And I don't think I can go without capture. It wouldn't be a stream anymore without capture. And earlier I switched to the internal mic, which is internal to my laptop. It's not on the USB bus, and I still have this issue. So I think I'm going to go for a stream restart. Yeah, okay, but I mean, let me go for a stream restart.